Today I'm going to be discussing my hopes for Big Brother Canada Season 12 and dreams, hopes and dreams. So I want to start off this video by saying this is strictly not a speculation video. This is really just my hopes and dreams. If you want a speculation video or who my dream cast would be, another video will be out shortly at some point where I'll make my dream cast of returnees, of what I've won in the newbies, so on and so forth. What we're going to focus on is the information we have. So, if you don't know, Big Brother Canada Season 12 is coming out March 5th. It's coming out March 5th. This was announced last year. And, yeah, obviously I'm pumped. Hell yeah. More Big Brother. Thank God. Because we have Survivor stuff coming out. We have Australian Survivor still coming out. We have Survivor 46 coming out soon. We have Big Brother Canada Season 12 coming out shortly. Then we'll have Big Brother US 26 coming out. So as you can tell, I'm extremely excited. I'm ecstatic. I can't wait to dissect everything. But that's not what we're here for today. We're discussing my hopes and dreams. So I want to start by saying I have no idea if this is going to be a returnee cast or if this is going to be a new cast. Either way, I'm cool with it. Unless they do something like Big Brother Canada Season 5, where it's half newbies, half returnees, which normally I don't have an issue with. However, I'd rather they just pick one or the other, at least for now, instead of doing half returnees, half newbies. That's what I would want. And I can get into that a bit later on if anyone's curious, but I don't think I need to explain myself much further when it comes to that. Another thing I wanted to point out was, look, I know there's talks about digital days being cancelled. If you don't know what digital days are, they're essentially just the live feeds, but instead they just like the small budget version. Which, look, I'm happy we were at least getting something, but if they cancel digital days as well as live feeds, then I'm gonna be bummed, man. Like, the live feeds add so much more to this show. The digital days add more to this show, even though it's not what I want, and I prefer live feeds over digital days. If we're gonna get digital days over just the episodes, I'd rather get digital days. If we can get the live feeds back, which is what I would love, if we could get the live feeds back, awesome, get the live feeds, we can talk about live feeds, so on and so forth. Because, look, I've been watching Karen Armstrong for years. I love his dissections of, like, him breaking down the players, what's in their best interest, all of this. Look, I need it. I need there to be live feeds. I think it's so much better with this live feeds. Because there's people like me who will genuinely spend 99% of their weekend just watching the feeds, just watching these people interact from all different walks of life, from watching them strategize. Even if most of the strategy doesn't amount to anything, which 99% of the time most of the strategy is just bullshit, or it's people just telling each other what they want to hear, like, or never comes into fruition, I prefer that. That's why I would rather. But obviously that's my thing. I personally think they should wait a few years before they do All-Stars 2, if they're going to do All-Stars 2. Just because there could be a few people you might want back who, when they come back, if you invite returnees too early, it's going to be like, oh, that kind of ruins the moment. Because the whole hype for returnees is the fact that it's like, oh my god, that player is back, no way. And for me, it's like, okay, I do want certain people to return. The likelihood of me getting the people I want back on my screen are going to be very low. Because it's already hard enough to play Big Brother. Big Brother Canada once. But to play twice, that's commitment, You gotta want to go in. You're probably going to get paid depending on the situation. You're going to be wanting to be one of those people where if you go in, you're going to want to make sure it counts. Because it isn't just 70 days in Big Brother Canada. It's also the weeks that you're sequestered away from everyone, which is normally 2 weeks. On top of that, it's also pre-game, you watching your seasons, you analysing possibly podcasts, you possibly working out before the show. If you're a fan and it's something you genuinely want to keep doing, that's something that we're okay, there's a lot of dedication and preparation that goes into these seasons. Because we've seen them in Big Brother Canada Season 5, Kevin Martin, he literally pre-planned like half the competitions. He literally went through. He had a book here. He went through every one, and he was like, "Oh my god, I just figured it out." And that's how he won. That's how he won. He gave a lot of credit to him studying before. Him studying was one of the massive things because in Big Brother Canada, especially, the ask you comps are studying, and I think it's stuff like that where it's like you need to take into account how serious this is because this isn't just 70 days game. Like this is something that can genuinely change someone's life. The only difference is it's aired on national television, and now people from international, aka not Canada, like me, because I'm Australian, can watch it and can give their thoughts and opinions. And there's people who go onto the show, and one day they're a normal person, the next day they're the winner of Big Brother Canada season 12, and it's stuff like that where it's pretty dope. I think it's really sick. Another thing I wanted to point out was I genuinely feel like, first of all, you need to not cut people right before they get into the house. If we get any of that before the season, I'm gonna be very upset. I hate it. I think it's so cruel. It's so mean. It's ruthless to cut someone right before they get into the house. I also don't like people joining in the 8 like a week or two when the game has already started. I don't like people getting advantages. Like, I'm sorry. I think it's an advantage to get people into the house earlier who have more time to bond. But it's also a disadvantage in the sense that, like, for example, Big Brother Canada 4, Tim and Nikki into the house, and then they were immune for a week. And then the two of them made it to, like, top 6. And it's stuff like that where it's like they walked into a house where the house was already divided into, like, 3 factions. And that could also influence the game. I feel like my big thing with Big Brother Canada is that I don't want it to just copy US because we've seen a lot of good US seasons, we've seen a lot of bad US seasons. I need Big Brother Canada to be its own brand. It needs to stick out by itself. It needs to be its own Kool-Aid. I want Big Brother Canada to. I mean, here's the thing. If I had to recommend Big Brother US or Big Brother Canada, I would recommend people to watch Big Brother Canada. I genuinely think the production value is way better than the US. On top of that, I genuinely think the game is probably better. Like, here's the thing. With Big Brother Canada, they don't... It's not that they don't cast superfans. They have casted superfans like Johnny in the past. The biggest thing with Big Brother Canada is a lot of the time, most of the people are pretty recruits. They're pretty recruity. They're pretty much like people who haven't really seen the show. But the game is still played. Like, the game still happens. And I think a lot of people don't expect it to be. I think a lot of people just expect it to be a Cheerio because if you're like me, you don't live in Canada. You've never gone to Canada. You don't know what it's like to be in Canada. And you've probably heard millions of things of people being like, oh, everyone's so yummy in Canada. Everyone's so nice and friendly. But yeah, we've seen some of the most ruthless gameplay in Big Brother Canada history. We've seen some of the most cutthroat blindsides. We've seen so much of people just giving so much different. We've had so many amazing moments from Big Brother Canada that Big Brother US would not be able to provide for us. And it's stuff like that where I'm thinking about it and I'm like, thank God it's a thing. Thank God Big Brother Canada is back. Thank God we have season 12. I think when Arista started Big Brother Canada, I bet she didn't expect it to make it to 12 seasons. But we made it. And we need to be hyped for that. We need to spread our up and support for that. I'm going to be doing cast assessments in the draft. I'm ideally going to get to talk to some of the old players from previous seasons, depending if they actually bother to respond to me. I really hope so, because that'd be sick. I'm really hyped for Big Brother Canada Season 12. I just hope we get more diversity in the challenges. I hope they cast more fans instead of recruits, because that's boring. The whole 50-50 POC, hoping they cast 50-50. I hope they continue that because, look, I mean, no one wants to be seen as a racist. that's my take on it. And another thing is that there's genuinely some great players we've seen POC, especially in Big Brother Canada, where it's like we've seen Anthony. He was a recruit, but he did extremely well. We saw Godfrey. He was a fan going into it, and he was a mastermind. Like we've seen these players who have gone into it, and yeah, they genuinely do add something to the show. Like they genuinely do, and stuff like that, where it's like you need to trust the casting decisions that you guys are making. Because we've seen in a lot of shows where people won't trust the casting decisions that they're making, and then they'll wonder why the season ends bad. And it's like, if you just don't have any crazy twists, have no, like, day 2 eviction, if they could give us the live feeds where it starts from night 1, that'd be great. I want to see these people start from not knowing each other to become besties. Sure, we can watch that. Or enemies, whatever the story arc is of the season. Obviously, none of us know until it happens. Another thing with the live feeds is being able to see what someone is doing in real time is so much cooler than just, oh, this was edited 5 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Because the episodes, yes, they are good. And I am the type of person who will rewatch seasons again and again and again. However, I mean, what would I prefer? Would I prefer like an hour-long episode, or would I prefer 24/7 access to live feeds? 24 access to live feeds, obviously. Like, if this is something that I genuinely care about, which it is, then it's going to be something that you're going to want to have your fans invest more time in. You're going to want us to be talking about the show. You're going to want us to be advertising it. Like, yes, I'm not going to lie. If I was in Canada, I would be applying for Big Brother Canada. But I'm not. So I have to try and hope I get Big Brother Australia in the meanwhile, even though Australian Survivor is my main goal. I have 2 more things I want to bring up. The first thing is, stop putting them in teams. Teams forces people. Well, here's the thing. If you're a recruit going into the season, you're going to think that you have to work with your team, which you don't have to, but it definitely incentivizes you to stick with your teams. And teams definitely don't help because, one, you could just gang up on other teams. And we've seen that before in Survivor and Big Brother, where people can gang up on you, and that's not what you want. And then second, like, with the whole team thing, teams, I mean, what we saw in Season 9, Big Brother Canada Season 9, Defenders and, what was the other team? Destiny, Team Defender and Team Destiny. I mean, that lasted like a week, and then Big Brother Canada was like, okay, let's get rid of that. That's not good. So I think even you guys know that you should not be putting that in the season. I think teams limit on what you're going to do in the season and who you're going to do it with. Because, I mean, we've seen a lot of, especially in like Big Brother, we've seen like US before. We've seen a lot of people be like, oh, I'm on this team. So these are, we're going to have team meetings. And team meetings mean nothing. Team meetings don't add anything to the show. So I think just stay away from teams. It's not a good twist. Another thing, the last thing I wanted to bring up before I almost end this, is that stop doing battle backs where people come back into the game after they've already been evicted, or doing fake double evictions. That's dumb. Get rid of that. I don't need that. Your battle backs, people coming back in the game when they've already been evicted. One, it only hurts the players who are actually running the house, which we saw like Mitch in Big Brother Canada 4. Kelsey coming back in the house literally only hurts his game, and he was playing one of, if not maybe the best game that season up until he got eliminated because of that. And I mean, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair that someone's playing a good game and their game gets screwed over because someone comes back into the house, when that should not be a variable that happens in Big Brother. That once you're evicted, you should be staying evicted. And I'm always going to say that, whether it's Survivor, Big Brother, whatever reality TV show, don't bring people back into the game when they've already been evicted. If you want them back, just invite them back to a new season. Like, you guys have the power. Don't do that. Like, you guys literally control how long the weeks are. You guys literally have a schedule. You guys literally, there are ways you guys can do this without pissing off fans, while also not ruining the integrity of the game. So yeah, that was my main second last thing, because I was like, well, I need you guys to understand that, like, to you guys it's like, oh, someone re-entered the game, how interesting. To me, it's like, oh, someone who doesn't deserve to win has a chance of winning this game. And if someone's been in the house for 70 days compared to someone who's been in the house for 50 days and returns Gary did in Big Brother Canada 1. It ruins the momentum of the season. It really does, and I think that's what happened with Big Brother Canada 4. And I'll get into more of that on my Big Brother Canada 4 recap when I do a deep dive into the season. I genuinely think it ruins the momentum of the season, because it's like, oh, this big moment happened, and then 2 seconds later, it's like, oh, nope, that's null and void, and it hurts the players who are actually good at the game or running the house. It's like, that sucks, man. I would hate that to happen. But regardless, that's all I really had to say today. I just wanted to talk about, I really hope we get all newbies. I get why people want All-Stars, but I'm personally willing to wait. We've already had half-second chances before. Even though there are people like Yavita who I would love to come back, but I will be doing a hype video of who I would invite back. And people like Yavita, or I'll make a Rivals cast. I'll do a Rivals cast on rivalries that I want to come back, because I genuinely, I love the show. I love Big Brother. I genuinely can't wait to talk about it. And that's about it. But yeah, thank you all for watching. And if you want more exclusive content, just sub to the channel and you'll get more of it. So peace.